If you're looking to move to the Boise, Idaho area, Nampa, Idaho, a suburb of Boise, may be a city that you want to consider. I'm going to quickly go over some of the pros and cons of Nampa, Idaho and what you want to consider when looking to live there. I'm also going to go over one big con to hopefully help you in deciding which city you want to live in when moving to the Boise, Idaho area and along your relocating journey. My name is Brady Fagel. I'm a local realtor in the Boise, Idaho area. I've lived here almost my entire life, and I enjoy helping people like you relocate to the Boise area or just help people in their investment and their home buying journey, no matter what stage of the process they are in. If during the course of this video you have any questions about Nampa specifically or any of the surrounding cities, or you want to learn more about the real estate market here, shoot me a text, give me a call anytime, day or night. My phone number is up on the screen. And if not, leave a comment and I'll get back to you right away. Starting off with Nampa, we'll just start with the price of homes. Nampa, Idaho is going to have about a median sale price of $500,000 at the moment, which is about $100,000 to $150,000 less than the surrounding cities like Boise, Meridian. Nampa is definitely going to be a lot more affordable than any of the other cities, other than maybe Caldwell, Idaho. Now, the homes in Nampa, the downtown Nampa area, these are going to be a lot of older homes that were built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even earlier. A lot of these homes have gone through remodels. There's flippers that work in that area, so you're going to have a mix of new remodeled homes and old kind of rundown homes when you go towards the downtown Nampa area. Nampa's growing just like the rest of the Treasure Valley though, so as you move outwards, you get newer and newer homes. When you go towards Lake Lowell, which is just outside of the Nampa area, you're going to have subdivisions that were built in the late 90s and the early 2000s, and those are going to be your more subdivision neighborhood with parks. Once you move a little bit farther out towards the Meridian area, which is north of Nampa, or south of Nampa towards Kuna, you're going to have a lot of new development. So homes built within the last 10 years, those brand new builds, even new build options. And Nampa also has a lot to offer when it comes to acreage living or custom homes. When you get outside of the Nampa area and that farmland where there's more space towards Lake Lowell, up north towards Middleton and Star, there's a lot of opportunity there for new builds, bigger homes, more acreage, and a lot more options for customizing your home. Now, just like the rest of the Treasure Valley, Nampa has a lot to offer when it comes to single family, townhomes, condos, mobile home living. It's your typical city. There's a lot of options. In Nampa, the Garrity Boulevard exit, which is the first exit in Nampa if you're coming from Boise and Meridian, has a lot of new builds. There's a lot of new subdivisions going in there, homes that have been built within the last few years. Also, right before that exit, we're putting in a new reroute of the interstate that's going to take to Emmett. So it's going to be a little bit busier. Amazon just put in their new warehouse there. So in that area, there's a lot of activity going on. The Idaho Center, the Fort Idaho Center, which puts on a lot of events, is located there. But when it comes to homes, that area is going to have a lot of the newer homes when you go north of the interstate on that Garrity Boulevard exit. There's also going to be a lot of appreciation and potential for growth in that area. Obviously Amazon, and then there's a lot more new commercial, industrial things going in across the street from Amazon, which is going to bring a lot of jobs. And CWI is also located on that exit, which is a community college. So that area has a lot of potential for growth and appreciation, bringing a lot of those new developments that are continuing to keep coming in more and more, which presents a lot of new opportunity for new builds and growth down the line. Another part of Nampa that has a lot of new development, new builds is South Nampa, out towards Kuna in that area. It's the same story there. There's new builds, new developments, new subdivisions, just like the rest of the valley. Now, I spoke about the homes and some general locations in the Nampa, Idaho area, but to get a better view on that, Nampa is located about 30 miles west of Boise, so it's a little bit of a drive outside of the Boise metropolitan area. Nampa borders Caldwell, Meridian, and Kuna, and is the third largest city in the Boise area and really the state, with about 110,000 people located in the Nampa area. As I mentioned before, you have the downtown Nampa area, which is going to offer a lot. You have the Garrity Boulevard exit, which, as I mentioned, has Amazon, the Idaho Center, and a lot of those new home builds. And then you have the Karcher Boulevard exit, which I'll talk on a little bit later. With the location of Nampa being about 30 miles outside of the Boise metropolitan area comes a lot of commutes. So if you are working in the Boise or the Meridian area, your commutes during rush hour are going to be a little bit longer. You're going to be looking at about 45 to even an hour, hour and a half, depending on time of year and wrecks and the traffic. So the commutes are going to be a little bit longer if you are working in the Boise and the Meridian area. within Nampa itself. Nampa is about a 15-minute drive from Middleton, 15-minute drive from Meridian, 15-minute drive from Kuna, and then about a 5 to 10-minute drive from Caldwell, depending on where you're at within the Nampa area. But there's a lot that Nampa has to offer, with it being one of the largest cities in the state. There's plenty of amenities, so if you are living in Nampa and you do have commutes just to the store or to restaurants or to schools, your commutes are not going to be that bad. It's about similar to a lot of the rest of the city, where you're going to have 5 to 10-minute commutes if you are just going to places like the store just outside of your house. I touched on the traffic a little bit, but like I said, it is similar to the rest of the valley. Traffic in Nampa can get bad. It can get crowded, especially on the interstate. They're doing a lot of construction there to expand and widen the interstate and work on some of those roads. So it can definitely get crammed and jam-packed with the growth that we've seen. Like I said, those 5 to 10-minute drives within Nampa itself to go to the grocery store or restaurants can get crammed. This is pretty much broadened across the entire Treasure Valley. Your traffic is going to be a little bit more crammed, and depending on where you're coming from, that can be a pro or a con. If you're coming from a place like LA or Seattle or Portland, it may just be a walk in the park for you. But if you are coming from a smaller city, this can be a con. But no matter where you live, unless you live way outside of the city limits with some land, you're going to be running into traffic no matter where you're at. Now, some of the big cons of Nampa that I mentioned early on in the video are that Nampa is a more industrial, commercial living city. So as you drive through I-84 off the interstate, what you see is going to be some factories, there's warehouses, there's places with storage, and it's not as appealing to the eye as if when you're driving through the Boise and the Meridian area. And with that comes places like Amazon, like I mentioned, but one of the big cons is the sugar beet factory. So the sugar beet factory is located just off the interstate in between Karcher and the Garrity Boulevard, and with that comes some smell. So Nampa, at times, I worked in downtown Nampa for a few years, and every once in a while you'll just get this bad smell that goes through Nampa, and a lot of that does come from the sugar beet factory. And that can be a big con if it's something that is really going to bother you, combined with the industrial, eye appeal to Nampa as you're driving through the interstate. Now, another big con of Nampa can be the crime. So when it comes to just ratings and statistics, Nampa is comparable to the Boise or the Caldwell area when it comes to crime, but it is one of the more unsafe cities in the Treasure Valley. And it does get a stigma for having more crime, being unsafe, or even having gang activity. Now, a lot of that can be up for debate, but if you lived in the Treasure Valley and you've grown up here, you know what I'm talking about, and Nampa can definitely get that stigma. And with that, when I used to work in downtown Nampa, we actually had one of my coworkers' trucks get stolen in the middle of the day, right outside of our work. We were only 30 feet away, and somehow it got stolen. We actually called the police. They were looking for it, and we decided to just look for it on our own, and we ended up finding the truck with everything stolen out of it just across the railroad tracks, and got the truck back. But that is a personal story that I have, where working in downtown Nampa, there are some things that go on there where, robberies or stealing of cars can be a little bit higher, and it is just something to consider and know about if you are looking to move to the Nampa area. Although I don't want it to scare you off. There's definitely safe parts of Nampa, and Nampa does have a lot to offer, but it is definitely one of the more unsafe, and can be a con of Nampa when considering to move to the Boise area. Now, when it comes to recreation in Nampa, whether it's outdoor or indoor, there is opportunity there, although depending on what recreation you like to do, there is more opportunity in Boise, Meridian, and in the Eagle area along those foothills when it comes to the outdoor recreation, or even indoor. There's obviously a lot more to do in the Boise, Meridian area just because of the population and amenities there. But when it comes to recreation, you do have Lake Lowell in Nampa. So Lake Lowell is a big lake located just southwest of Nampa. It has a lot to offer there. There's water sports, there's a beach there, there's hiking trails, there's biking trails, there's trails that you can take horses, there's hunting opportunity there, so you can hunt ducks on the lake in the wintertime, or there's limited quota deer tag on the lake itself. And there's a wildlife refuge, so if you want to get outdoors and hike some of those trails, it can get you out of that city feel and make you really feel like you are truly in the outdoors, even though you're not that far from the Nampa area. Lake Lowell, for its fishing, is definitely known for its bass fishing. There's a lot of people that go out there to fish for bass. There's also a ton of carp on the lake, so if you are someone like me who enjoys fishing for carp, fly fishing for carp specifically, it can be a great opportunity there. And Lake Lowell just recently started stocking some tiger muskie, so if you are an avid fisherman, that can be exciting for you and presents some great opportunity when it's not that far of a drive. It's only about a 10 to 20 minute drive outside of Nampa, depending on where you live, and can create some great outdoor recreation if that's something that you enjoy to do. When it comes to other recreation, there's obviously plenty of parks, there's plenty of places to just spend time outside. Nampa's home to one of the only roller rinks in the area, and there is still things to do in Nampa. When it comes to downtown, there's great bars and restaurants downtown Nampa, the Garrity Boulevard and the Karcher exit around those hotspot areas. There's still some recreation to do, whether it's just going to the movies or spending time outside, eating at a restaurant, going to parks, or shopping if that is considered recreation to you. With that on the Karcher exit, one thing to watch out for is the Karcher exit is home to Costco, Kohl's, Target, restaurants, Hobby Lobby, Sportsman's Warehouse, a movie theater, Home Depot, and it's a very big intersection and it gets extremely crowded in Nampa. At Karcher exit during the busy times of the day, I avoid it at all costs. You even lose service in that area because there is so many people coming in and out. Your phone just gets a little overwhelmed. So something to know about when it comes to traffic and amenities in that Karcher exit. It's definitely a con of living in Nampa. The schooling in Nampa. So Nampa is home to the Nampa School District. And on average, I'd say that the Nampa School District is ranked lesser than the Meridian or the Boise areas. So that's something to consider if you have a family. That can obviously vary from school to school, but in general, Nampa School District does have a little bit lower rating than some of the surrounding cities. Nampa is also home to NNU, which is a private Nazarene university. Nampa is also home to CWI, which is a community college, and that can come with some college living and some of those younger age group within Nampa itself. But overall, it's just something to know about and consider when moving to the Nampa area. Overall, Nampa, there's obviously a lot to cover. There's a lot that I didn't go into detail with, but Nampa as a whole, I would say if you live in the valley and you've grown up here your whole life, Nampa does get that stigma for being a place that most people don't want to live, whether it's because of the commute, because of the crime, because of the smell that I mentioned, or just because of the appeal of Nampa. I know most people kind of stay away from it, but it does have a lot of opportunity as it grows. I know as you get outside of the Nampa area, the downtown Nampa area, there's a lot of beautiful homes, a lot of opportunity for land, a lot of opportunity for these new developments, these new subdivisions, and these newer homes. So it's something to consider. It's something to know about when you're moving to the Boise area. That maybe that more affordable price point is kind of what you're looking for, or you want to live out by Lake Lowell or out by the Snake River and have that as an option. Overall, if you have any questions, you want to know more about Nampa, you want more of the details on the new builds or some of the downtown opportunity or some of those more acreage custom homes, always reach out to me any time of the day. My phone number is up on the screen. I'd be happy to help you in any way that I can and hopefully help you relocate to the Boise area or just move within Boise itself. With that, if you do want to know more about what Meridian, Idaho is like or Kuhn, Idaho, click the videos above. Thanks for watching.